The story begins with Makoto, a young boy who is born into a family of assassins now starts to feel imprisoned in his own home. His parents always tell him that family is the most valuable thing in the world, but Makoto wonders whether or not families are actually that important. With his family's 300-year-long history as assassins, Makoto, together with his siblings, undergoes difficult training every day since they were kids. This custom completely changed his perception on what a family truly is, and whether it is indeed important or not. Then one day, orcs suddenly arrived from another world and started creating havoc in Tokyo. These strange creatures and their barbaric actions became a source of terror for humans. As the sounds of screams and cries of desperation echo throughout Tokyo, Makoto grabs this opportunity to leave his family behind. Using his father's RV, Makoto escaped from Tokyo faster than anyone else and drove out to the sea, where the number of monsters gradually decreased. So whether it's a massive earthquake or alien invasion, this is the disaster Makoto has been waiting for to happen to be able to leave his assassin family. But Makoto can't help but wonder if this is somewhat an isekai apocalypse where creatures from another world have come to take over the country. The next day, the ocean breeze wakes him up. As he steps out of his RV, trying to breathe some fresh air, he is shocked to see a beautiful girl standing by the shore holding a massive sword. Her cute face and amazing skin really mesmerized Makoto. So, regardless of her looking like an elf, Makoto still finds her really cute that he even ended up feeling like he had fallen in love at first sight. The girl then started talking in a monster language, amazed that she really got transported into another world. Trying to act cool about it, Makoto went on to invite her to have breakfast with him. He also warned her regarding the sword since she might get in trouble with the authorities. But little did Makoto know, the pig-looking orc that appeared out of nowhere the other day was now standing behind him. Fortunately, the girl managed to step in and help him. She tried telling him to run away and find a safe place to hide, but because they can't understand each other's language, the two had a hard time communicating with each other. Without any choice, the elf girl ended up fighting off monsters one after the other on her own. But her luck started running off when she fought against the fattest orc in the group. As the orc tried to molest her, Makoto stepped in and used his RV to knock the monster out. On the other hand, while Makoto is literally experiencing a life-or-death situation on some random shore in Japan, his family back in Tokyo managed to eliminate a number of monsters themselves. Despite Makoto not answering their calls, his father is certain that his son wouldn't get slaughtered that easily, as he is far stronger than these monsters. Coming from a family of assassins, even with just a small dagger on hand, Makoto seamlessly managed to cut the orc's legs without a sweat. Makoto didn't even show mercy on the orc and just went on to slice him up real good. To Makoto's surprise, this orc's body structure is similar to that of humans, but Makoto didn't hesitate and eventually ended everything with one stab. But after doing so, Makoto couldn't help but get a bit dumbstruck after realizing what he had just done. However, to his surprise, the monster is technically not dead yet. The elf girl didn't even hesitate to step in and end it once and for all. To Makoto's surprise, the orc's leg that he had just cut off had already healed back. At this point, he eventually realized that these monsters won't die unless one stabs their heart or cuts their head off. Quite curious about where the girl learned how to use a sword, Makoto tried asking her. But the girl only looked at her with that confused look. Then Makoto remembers that they can't really understand each other at all, making him wonder if there is a way they would be able to communicate with one another. At that moment, Makoto suddenly remembered that he has never talked to a girl who is not a part of his family ever in his life before. Although he is so nervous to talk right now, Makoto gathered all his courage and told the girl that he really likes her. Despite it being so sudden, Makoto went on to reveal that he fell in love with her at first sight, even going as far as popping the question and asking her to marry him. Stunned by Makoto's proposal, the girl's sword started to glow, indicating that the seal of the holy sword, Signal, has now been broken. Without warning, the sword shoots a ray of light directly at Makoto, causing him to scream in discomfort. Moments later, Makoto felt a little dizzy, while the girl is still quite shocked that her Signal actually formed a contract with a human being from another world. Meanwhile, to Makoto's surprise, the barrier between their languages has also been broken when subtitles displayed on a floating window suddenly appeared out of nowhere. With Makoto forming a contract with the Holy Sword, he is now given the ability to communicate with this girl through subtitles. Confused about what was going on, Makoto ended up feeling awkward when the girl suddenly opened up regarding the marrying thing. Flustered, Makoto quickly tried to explain himself, saying that he only said that because he thought the elf girl wouldn't understand. Surprisingly, a connection between them formed and Makoto called it fate. After Makoto confessed his feelings, the elf girl revealed that he had been chosen by the Holy Sword of Signal as the hero, and asked him to save her world from evil. The elf girl believed in Makoto's strength after seeing him defeat a pig-headed beast with just a dagger. But Makoto doubted himself, thinking his power came from the trauma of being raised by an assassin family and not because he is a hero. For the longest time, Makoto sees himself as the opposite of a hero, but the elf girl disagrees, stating that being a hero is about facing fear to survive, just like what Makoto did earlier. Touched by her words, Makoto impulsively asked her to marry him, but after a while, he immediately apologized for his rash decision. However, to his surprise, the elf girl accepted his proposal so happily, and was even excited to marry the so-called hero. Because of this, Makoto couldn't even look her in the eyes due to embarrassment. Realizing they hadn't introduced themselves yet, the elf girl whose name is Ingrid finally got to know Makoto's name. Surprised by how quickly things escalated, Makoto wondered if it was all just a dream, since he never imagined being in a relationship with such a cute girl. As they grew more comfortable with each other, they finally began their journey as a couple. However, for some reason, everything that's happening triggered painful memories from Makoto's past. As a child, he was forced by his assassin family to slaughter animals to get used to murdering. He still remembers his first task when he was a kid was to slaughter a pig, but he couldn't bring himself to do it while his siblings were unfazed about it. This early experience left Makoto feeling weak and inferior. Though Ingrid saw a hero in him, Makoto still carried the scars of a dark, violent childhood. Eventually, he went to school after 4th grade. Afterward, he helped out the family business and received more training. However, he didn't have any friends, much less a lover, and the only people he would have interacted with were his family. On top of that, the only books he could get his hands on were owned by old men, and even the TV and internet were both banned until he reached 18. To make it worse, his siblings didn't have a single problem with that, and they somehow felt as if it was only natural. But Makoto was just different. He was longing for something more. For the longest time, Makoto tried to find answers, but he gradually realized how twisted his childhood truly was. He came to believe he had one of the worst childhoods among people his age. So, when he met someone as kind and cute as Ingrid, and even got the chance to marry her, everything felt like a blessing. As Ingrid moves closer to him, Makoto thought he was about to experience his first kiss, but instead, she whispered something in his ear, stating that since he had formed a contract with the Holy Sword Cygnus, she would now offer him her blessing. From that moment on, the sword was officially Makoto, which he will use to defeat Harold, the evil creature that created this chaos. Though haunted by his past and the trauma of harming others, Makoto accepted the mission, thinking that he would do all of this for Ingrid. But after a little while, he realized how shallow that sounded, so he quickly corrected himself, stating that he'd do it for the sake of the world. Ingrid was speechless for a moment, so Makoto started feeling worried he had said something wrong. But when she noticed his chest tightening, she asked what was wrong. At that moment, Makoto finally admitted he wanted to run from his past to change. Yet even now, being normal felt out of reach, and even though he hated himself, Makoto truly wanted to change for the better. To comfort him, Ingrid reminded him of his strength and bravery, which was the reason she is still alive now. Ingrid even added that she doesn't see him as a monster, but someone worth praising. The two had a slight moment of silence until Ingrid decided to finally move forward. She plans on heading southeast since her people were captured and imprisoned by the enemy in the capital of Azeroth. Confused, as Makoto had never heard of a place called Azeroth, Ingrid then went on to show him a map using the Holy Sword. To his surprise, Ingrid went on to show him a map that looked exactly like the map of Japan. As he takes a closer look, Makoto suddenly realizes that the glowing dot in the map is the Azeroth Ingrid is talking about, and this point exactly points to Tokyo. This time around, it is now Ingrid who is confused about what Makoto is talking about. So Makoto explains that this is the city he grew up in. It has lots of tall buildings and Japan is its capital city. He then added that he was living there up until the day before yesterday, until suddenly a number of monsters appeared out of nowhere. Although this is a lot to take in, Makoto finally realizes that the world where Ingrid came from and their world have the same topography. Ingrid then went on to explain that the netherworld and the world Makoto lives in are like heads and tails, where many things are mutually influenced by each other's world, and the topography is one of the biggest points in common. Thus, Tokyo itself is the other side of the same coin. And as mentioned, the crisis that occurred in Azel, which is Ingrid's world, has also brought strange phenomena upon Tokyo. This crisis started when the warlock, Arold, used evil magic. It's a forbidden magic intended to connect the afterlife and the world of the living. Slowly realizing that this was a serious issue, Makoto went on to check the maps once again, where he noticed that aside from Tokyo, other points were marked on the map. Ingrid then explains that these are the locations of the shrines where the sacred treasures are located, namely, the 6 sacred treasures bestowed by the god. These are the Holy Sword, the Holy Spear, the Holy Axe, the Holy Shield, the Holy Staff, and the Holy Bow. According to Ingrid, these sacred treasures protected the peace and order between the two worlds. However, Arold and his underlings sealed the shrine's sacred treasures one after another. In their stead, he offered to the shrines the demon weapons bestowed upon him by the evil god, which are the demon sword, the demon spear, the demon axe, the demon shield, the demon staff, and the demon bow. As a result, the world's balance has now crumbled, and it even went as far as affecting the world Makoto is living in. That is why, to restore the balance, Makoto needs to defeat Arold, the one who carries the demon sword. This demon sword's power is so tremendous that it's probably the place with the largest scale of strange phenomena. But now that Ingrid has mentioned it, Makoto wonders what happens to the other places aside from Tokyo. Based on Ingrid's observation, no matter what part of Japan you are in, there's a big chance that a strange phenomenon will take place. In fact, she even transported herself to the world Makoto is living in using the power of the Holy Sword. But despite that, the orcs and Arnold's minions were able to follow her due to the influence of the demon weapon located at the shrine nearby, where the two of them are at right now. Ingrid then pointed out where this place is, and after looking at the map, Makoto realized that it's located in Nakazawa City. The shrine located in that area is where the demon axe is. Since they are relatively closer to Nakazawa, Ingrid suggested that they should deal with the demon axe first instead of going straight to Tokyo. After all, it is easier to deal with the other shrines, rather than going directly to Arold. So eventually, the two decided to head towards these shrines first and seal the other demon weapons in hopes that it would weaken Arold's power. A window then suddenly appeared, showing where the demon weapons were located. The demon sword is in Tokyo, the axe is in Nakazawa, the spear is in Kyoto, the shield is in Osaka, the staff is in Nagoya, and lastly the bow is in Odawara. With this information from their current location, Nakazawa would be their first stop. From where they are now, Makoto plans on traveling westwards along Honshu and visiting the shrine and sealing them right away, with Tokyo being their last stop. As they finally start traveling, Ingrid is quite amazed by the RV as she has never really experienced riding one in her world. When Makoto went on to open the car windows, Ingrid immediately had a blast. As the wind touches her skin, making her silky hair fly away, Makoto can't help but look at her mesmerizingly. As he starts to blush at how cute Ingrid is, Makoto is extremely happy as everything that is happening now feels like a dream to him. After all, suddenly getting a cute girlfriend and going for a drive together, traveling across the country, is really something that makes his heart feel full. But what really makes Makoto excited is that one night he would enjoy Ingrid to himself in bed. He then immediately brushes off these dirty thoughts from his mind, reminding himself that his first girlfriend is literally in trouble and is in need of his help. That is why, as soon as Ingrid tried to talk to him, Makoto couldn't even bring himself to look at her straight and even started feeling a bit embarrassed about himself, despite Ingrid not really hearing his thoughts. As he starts to feel awkward, Makoto decides to go drive to the store to buy them some food. As they are on the way, Makoto starts to wonder if the stores are still standing, or rather, what exactly is happening in Japan right now. Makoto then started overthinking, having thoughts like what if the strange phenomena have now spread across all of Japan and are causing the country to be in a state of danger. So to ensure that their plans go smoothly, Makoto decided to gather some information first by watching the news. As they watched the news, the two managed to see the current footage of the National Diet building. On top of the building, a creature that could be called a dragon has taken position. Ingrid immediately knew that this was the king's wyvern. Along with him are statues that are 10 meters tall, standing right in front of the entrance of the building. These statues are called Era and Lyra. Both of them are the guardian beasts of Ingrid's royal family. However, they are now under the command of Arold. As Ingrid mentions the royal family, Makoto starts to wonder if she is a princess in their world. Although Era and Lyra look like statues, when the drones of the news channel get closer to them, the two statues suddenly come to life. They then kneel down, with 8 other people appearing. Confused at what is going on, Ingrid immediately informs Makoto that these are Arold's cult, a group of sorcerers under the command of Arold who worship dark deities. Now that these powerful people have suddenly appeared, the news footage suddenly ended as it seems that all the drones have been destroyed. The cult uses some sort of magic to destroy every drone in sight. With this, Makoto ended up deciding to scan the internet to get more information about the situation. Surprisingly, there were many survivors, and obtaining information through social media was relatively easy. From there, they were able to learn the following. The members of the National Diet have become hostages of the Arold cult. With hostages involved, neither the police nor the self-defense forces can intervene. On top of that, the governor of Tokyo and officials in the Tokyo metropolitan government are now operating under the rule of the Arold cult. The two also found out that Tokyo has been placed under lockdown, and the governance of the country has been entrusted to the National Governors Association. Based on how it looks, Arold is prioritizing the conquest of the capital city, since it appears that there are no significant strange creatures or disturbances outside of Tokyo. That is why Makoto and Ingrid hoped that they wouldn't encounter any issues as they continued their journey through the regions as planned. However, Makoto starts to wonder if there's a possibility that strange creatures, like the one they encountered earlier, might come after them again. Ingrid then went on to assure him that she doesn't see any possibilities that the enemies from the spirit world would be able to pinpoint her exact location, especially since she was transported through the mortal realm. Aside from that, to be able to translocate enemies to the mortal realm, the enemies would need to use the power of magical artifacts, so it is unlikely that the enemies would waste so much power on such frivolous actions. However, Ingrid is still not certain about what might happen if the power of the magical artifacts were to increase in the future. But as of the moment, Makoto wants her to stop thinking pessimistically, since for now, he just wants them to eat something delicious. After traveling for a few hours or so, they finally made it to their first stop. Before stepping out of the car, Makoto made it a goal to try cheering up Ingrid, even just a little, knowing that she surely is in a situation much more difficult than he can imagine. Since they have now arrived in Kanazawa City, Makoto would not let it pass, not being able to try some of the city's best sushi. So before they start their plan to visit the shrines, Makoto wants them to have a decent meal first. But before that, Makoto asks Ingrid that she should do something first with that holy sword of hers, since if she carries it around, it will definitely attract police attention. Ingrid then immediately went on to cancel her sword and transform it into a necklace, which is more convenient to carry around. After that, Makoto also asks her to change her clothes, as there is a big chance that her ears may stand out to people. Using her power, Ingrid effortlessly transforms herself into a human form while informing Makoto that she can actually change her appearance into 7 different races. Now that they finally blend in with others, the two immediately went to the marketplace to look for food. Surprisingly, the market is packed with people despite all the chaos that is happening on the other side of Japan. As they started off their food trip journey, Makoto went on to take Ingrid to a popular restaurant he knew of. While the two are waiting in line, just enjoying each other's company, someone who just looks and dresses like Ingrid when she first arrived in this world is also waiting in line with them. This man is scanning through the menu, excited to devour some delicious sushi. As they finally got inside the rotating sushi restaurant, Makoto went on to explain how the restaurant works to Ingrid. To ensure that Ingrid experienced the best sushi dining ever, Makoto went on to order some of the best-selling sushi in the restaurant. As Ingrid went on to take a bite, she was immediately blown away by how delicious the dish was, to the point that she started crying. Worried that he had done something wrong, Makoto went on immediately to ask her why she started crying. Ingrid then explains that she was just moved by her first meal in this world, that aside from her stomach, her heart became full. As Ingrid went on to try more sushi, the chef couldn't help but notice that she was speaking another language. To avoid getting everyone's attention, Makoto just went on to lie, stating that Ingrid is a foreign student from their university. As soon as Makoto stated that Ingrid is from a country located in a remote part of Europe, the chef couldn't help but mention that there is another customer who speaks a similar language to Ingrid. This shocked Makoto as he never expected that they would be able to meet another person from Ingrid's world. As Makoto went on to listen to what the man was saying, he immediately confirmed that this man was indeed a person from another world. Since the land in the underworld is already under the control of the enemy, Ingrid personally thinks that there is a high possibility that this man is one of Harold's minions. So as much as they could, Makoto and Ingrid tried their best to keep a low profile. Since the guy hadn't really noticed them yet, the two decided to finally step out of the restaurant for now. While Makoto pays for the bill, Ingrid steps out of the restaurant first. There, while walking down the street, she witnessed an incident where a dead fish suddenly came back to life and transformed into a monstrous being. As everyone starts to panic, Ingrid goes on to save a mother and a son who were about to get attacked by the monster. As the monster aims to attack her this time, Makoto steps in to save her life while also asking her if she knows what type of creature this is. However, even Ingrid doesn't have any idea where this creature came from, making Makoto worried as this may only imply that the gate that connects this world and the other world is now starting to open. On top of that, considering this creature is relatively strong, Ingrid begs Makoto to draw the holy sword out before people are harmed. However, Makoto doesn't want to attract attention from people since he knows very well that if he swings a weapon like that in front of these many people, he'll get arrested by the police. To make it worse, the man in the restaurant might also find out Ingrid's identity. But Makoto assures her that everything will turn out all right, since he'll try his best to figure something out. So with the best he could, Makoto went on to analyze the creature's body, trying to think of any weaknesses that would enable him to win. Just like what happened to the orcs earlier this morning, Makoto plans on proving his theory that these creatures are not as invincible as people might think. Everything that he has learned and acquired up until now, Makoto wants to put into action. As he started to fight the monster, the people spectated around him. Makoto then hides at the creature's blind spot, which is below its body, and he is now aiming for the creature's weak spot to finally end this fight once and for all. Knowing that he only got one chance, Makoto is ready to give it all he's got and strike the monster hard until it dies. Eventually, Makoto did manage to knock the monster down. He then didn't waste a minute and went on to tell everyone to immediately evacuate. Moments later, he also tells Ingrid that they both should escape as well, while they still can. However, Ingrid is worried about the people, thinking that this monster might still wake up and hurt everyone in sight. So assures her that the police will take care of the rest, so there is no need for them to worry. When Ingrid is finally convinced to leave, before they can even do so, the man that they are trying to avoid suddenly rushes towards them. The man was quite amazed by Makoto's skills a while ago, which is why he badly wanted to talk to him now, which is something that Makoto and Ingrid are not delighted about. Now that they have caught the man's attention, Makoto tells Ingrid to ignore the man and just run away. The man tried calling for Makoto's attention, but the two decided not to respond to him at all. At this point, the man started to speculate that maybe he can't really communicate with people in this world. As he tries to chase after the two, the fish monster starts moving again, about to attack him. Fortunately, the man effortlessly defeats it with one move and also uses his magic power to ignite the monster in fire, shocking everyone, even Ingrid and Makoto. Now that the man has finally caught Makoto's attention, he kept on telling him that he wanted to talk. After witnessing Makoto fight a while ago, the man speculated that Makoto might be a formidable warrior who had defeated numerous enemies. At this point, Makoto is starting to get intrigued about knowing more about this man. However, Ingrid immediately reminds him that they need to leave quickly. Meanwhile, seeing the two rushing to leave made the man wonder what the reason was behind them running away in the first place. On their way out, Makoto can't help but express how amazing the man's magic is. According to Ingrid, the technique that the man used a while ago can only be done by advanced magic users. Hence, Ingrid thinks that he is a dangerous opponent to fight with. Based on how powerful he is, Ingrid immediately thought that the man might be a mage from our Harold's cult. So if that's the case, Makoto ended up concluding that the bad guys might be chasing after Ingrid all along. Since this was not good for their plan, the two tried to formulate a new plan. But while they are still inside the market, Makoto feels a presence following them. Although they can't really see him, Makoto can sense him through his footsteps. Since the man was wearing heavy boots, Makoto could distinguish them by their distinctive sound. Even though the man lost sight of them, he is still tracking them accurately as if he were a police dog. At this point, Ingrid starts to wonder if this man has noticed her identity. However, Makoto thinks that this man is only after him because of the way he fought against the strange fish a while ago. So when the man finally saw them, the two tried to ignore him. But the man knows that Makoto understands him. But as much as Makoto could, he tried acting up as if the man were a foreigner. At this point, the man starts to wonder what is going on since he is pretty sure that when his eyes and Ingrid's eyes met, he was convinced that they understood each other. At this point, there is no doubt that this person is chasing Makoto for a reason. Based on the looks of it, he is still unaware of Ingrid's background. That is why Makoto plans to deliberately divert the attention of the pursuers. This is a skill that he learned from his clan. Every time he makes use of the skills of his clan, Makoto feels a sense of discomfort in his chest. However, although it has its effect, but before they can even leave, the man goes on to show off his window. He then tells Makoto that with this, they will be able to talk to each other. With this already in place, Makoto has no choice but to talk to him. Without hesitation, the man went on to immediately reveal that he came from another world. To put it simply, he terms himself as an isekai person. During this time, Makoto finally realizes that this man is indeed a human from the spirit world. However, Makoto wonders how this man managed to open the gate without using the holy sword. He then notices the necklace that glowed earlier. As Makoto's mind is now filled with questions, the man went on to tell him that he finds Makoto's skills magnificent during his fight with that fish monster. So good that the man started thinking Makoto is a renowned warrior in this world. Without hesitation, the man immediately asks Makoto if he is willing to fight alongside him. Although Makoto is confused at the moment, for some reason he doesn't sense any hostility from this man. But despite that, there is no guarantee that this person is not Ingrid's enemy. Then all of a sudden, Ingrid approaches the man, asking him where he got the necklace, which turns out to be the holy axe Karlam. Ingrid then went on to show off her crest, and seeing this crest shocked the man. Ingrid then finally introduced herself as the third princess of the Mistonia kingdom. After hearing this, the man immediately bowed down and showed respect to Ingrid, introducing himself as Beowulf, the man that the liege sent to assist her. Finding out who he is, Ingrid couldn't even hide her shockness as Beowulf is actually the hero of Yggerland, a city in the world Ingrid came from. As Beowulf went on to kiss Ingrid's palms, Makoto didn't even know how to act due to the awkwardness. Since the two are starting to draw some attention, Makoto tells them that it might be better if they change location now. As they finally made it back to the RV, Ingrid couldn't help but feel happy and reassured now that they had the assistance of a renowned hero like Beowulf. Seeing Ingrid happy because of another man somehow made Makoto feel jealous. As he started acting up, Beowulf and Ingrid started worrying about him. Now that Beowulf finally notices Makoto once again, he immediately asks him who he is. Makoto immediately stated his name and how he met Ingrid this morning. Ingrid then steps in, telling Beowulf more about Makoto, stating that he is the chosen one of the Holy Sword Signal, the hero of this world. On top of that, Ingrid also added that Makoto is her fiancé, a statement that made Makoto blush so much. While the two smiled at each other, Beowulf looked rather unhappy, hearing that from Ingrid. Hearing her say that Makoto is her fiancé shocked Beowulf. Beowulf just finds it odd since Makoto is from the mortal realm, and even if he is an exceptional warrior or the chosen one by the holy sword, Beowulf still thinks that it will cause much trouble for the princess, considering she is now engaged to someone from another world. Now that Beowulf has mentioned it, the princess then went on to state that she already knows that. But despite the concerns that may arise, the princess doesn't really care about it since everything that has happened between her and Makoto is all because of fate. On top of that, Ingrid also knows that it is possible since her grandmother Junko Sayama also came to their world from the mortal realm. So just like Makoto, the princess's grandmother was a human from the mortal realm. Now that they're already talking about it, Ingrid suddenly remembers the time when their homeland, Mistonia, was plagued by the miasma. During that time, it was an era when monsters overflowed, and the one that saved everyone from that disaster was her grandmother, who was summoned from the mortal realm. However, when she was summoned, Ingrid's grandmother mostly forgot the language of the mortal realm. But thankfully, because of her, the whole kingdom was saved, hence why she ended up being called the Holy Maiden. With that being said, since Ingrid's parents are now slain by Arold, and her siblings, including her brother, are all missing, she is now technically the only remaining member of the royal family. That is why she can freely choose the man she wants to marry. Although all of this is true, Beowulf still thinks that this is such a hasty decision, considering the two just met earlier today. However, Ingrid immediately defended Makoto, stating that marriage is just about momentum. Since she saw that Makoto shot his love earnestly and made a heartfelt proposal, Ingrid finds it really lovely as she hasn't really heard such a sincere expression of love before. As a result, Ingrid ended up accepting his proposal. Because of this, Ingrid then went on to ask for Beowulf's blessing for their marriage. Before giving his blessing, Beowulf went on to show off his sacred axe. Seeing this shocked Ingrid, considering this weapon should either have been taken or destroyed when the temple of Kulvez fell into the hands of the enemy. So Ingrid immediately asked Beowulf how he managed to keep it. Beowulf then explains that his younger sister, Milim, was a priestess in the temple of Kulvez. So when Harold's forces approached the temple, Milim sent the holy axe back to their homeland to keep it safe.